What's going on, guys? This is episode number 11 of the Going for Two podcast with Jansen and Hunter. I'm your host, Hunter Waldrop. This is my co-host, Jansen Jasperson. Jansen, how we doing today, brother?
We're doing great, man. We just got done watching the Astros win their second game against the Seattle Mariners. Going back to Seattle, I think I think we'll definitely shut it out there for sure. And hang on a second. Carlos Correa is sitting on the TBS, like with the TBS crew talking the Astros game. How does that feel? How does
Yeah,
that feel to be sitting there talking about your team that you were on last year? But
yeah,
other than that, man, I'm excited for this weekend. We got a lot of good college football games this weekend. A lot of things that I'm looking forward to for sure. For
yeah, for
sure. How
sure.
about you,
Speaking of
buddy? How you been?
baseball, I've been hanging in there. Every day's a new day. Just thanking the good Lord to take another breath and wake up every morning. Uh, but I'm also thanking the good Lord for the Atlanta Braves winning yesterday. That was a much needed win.
That was a
After
much needed win.
we choked game one to the Phillies, so we have to win the next game, or else I'm really going to start to get worried. But I think we'll be all right. And as you can see, I'm repping the Atlanta Braves all over me this
You
evening.
should.
So yeah, but I'm excited for another week of college football. We're over halfway. It's so sad to see it go by so fast, but I'm enjoying every second of it. So I know we're going to talk about the games we enjoyed in week 6, talk about what's going on here in week 7. Then to wrap it up, we're also going to add in a new little segment that we're going to do just for this week. And we're going to talk about who we got in the playoffs at the end of the year and who's going to win what conference. So
I'm excited. I'm excited. Well, let's get into it, buddy.
let's do it, man.
All right. If you haven't yet, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Going for Two podcast with Jansen and Hunter. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe for us. Leave a comment. Tell us if you're riding the same thing we are on the weekends. Tell us if you think like some of our thoughts, if you agree with them or if you disagree with them, but be respectful with it. And and then on Twitter, follow us at going_for2. Hunter and I get on there sometimes on the weekend, and we'll talk about games that we've talked about on the podcast and games that we were watching throughout the day. So if you could, we would love for you to follow us on YouTube and Twitter.
That's for sure.
All right, buddy, let's dive into it.
Let's get right on into it. Wow. So, our game of the week last week was TCU versus Kansas, and I'll have to say, in my opinion, I think this was the best game of the weekend. Uh, Even with Jalen Daniels going out for Kansas, well, I think I enjoyed it more than the average view. I mean, it was high scoring. Kansas.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of
Like
people thought a lot of people thought Kansas was probably going to get blown out, but they kept it one possession. And Jalen Daniels, I think he only attempted like 7 or 8 passes, and he got injured. He's not going to play this week against Oklahoma. We'll talk more about that later. But their backup quarterback, oh, I forgot his last name, is Bean, maybe. I'm not sure. But he came in and did good. I think he was 17-24, 245 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Like, he stepped in, and I really do think Kansas is a good team. I hate to see them lose, but both teams covered the spread. It was even at 7. So if you got it 7, you didn't lose, you didn't win.
push.
Vegas had it right on the money. Um, and it's funny. I think the closing over under was 69 points, and look, so I think Vegas was
Wow.
hitting on all cylinders on this one. But man, TCU, they're dangerous. They got the best. I think they got the best receiving core in the Big 12 for sure.
They might, bro.
Well,
They're.
besides Texas, but like I don't know. I think this team gives Texas a run for their money.
I think so too.
Um, but TCU special Max Duggan, he looks really good, man. He's running the ball, throwing it. I mean, Sonny Dykes got the Horned Frogs playing well. Probably the biggest surprise team so far this year, I'd say. It's this late into the year. Um, but Lance Leipold at Kansas, I mean, I think they're still ranked 19th. They didn't move up or down. I think they deserve to stay exactly where they were. I think they're going to do just fine. They play Oklahoma this week with the backup quarterback in Norman, so we'll discuss that later. But I definitely think Kansas can win a bowl game, and I think they're still going to beat some teams that they were not expected to beat this year. So
I think so too.
and
I
they
think.
might be able to. Well, I was going to finish off at
Oh,
was
you're
they
good.
might be able to end off in the top 25, but I'm not 100% sure. I know they're going to. It just depends on how everything goes. Their defense is really what holds them back more than anything else. But I mean, this game was tied until like a minute left in the game, and then TCU scored So I mean, it was very exciting. I enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to see what both these teams do because the Big 12 is wide open, man. I know we talk about it all the time, and it's a very exciting conference to watch for sure.
Honestly, like I think it might be the best conference in college football right now because it's just you see so many things that you aren't expecting. Like you wouldn't think the backup quarterback for Kansas would keep it close with TCU, and he did, and he played really well for a backup quarterback, I would say. And I do think that like you said, the TCU's receiving core is absolutely insane, and I think that's the reason why I mean they put up 55 on um,
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, and it was like you can't do that without some studs in your receiver core. So, but I mean, like you said, I think Kansas can make a bowl game as well, and I think they most definitely will win a bowl game. But with this backup quarterback, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it every week, week in and week out. But TCU, man, like I think they could beat whoever they play.
I
It's
do
just
too.
I think everybody on their team's got to stay healthy, and they just got to keep doing what they're doing. And if they do, then I think they got a chance at showing some people that why not give them a shot? Why not put them in? So
Yeah.
why not put them in a
No.
bowl game? But
Uh, we'll talk more about it later when we discuss our conference championship and playoff predictions. So
yes, sir.
I'm just going to
All
kind of
right.
leave it at that right now.
No, you're good.
I will
You're
be
good.
talking about them later. So
You're good. Well, let's get into week 6 recap. Week 6, man. I don't like that.
it's all good. All right, man. Week 6, another exciting week, and this week's just as exciting if you ask me. Oh man, I just realized I didn't put the NC State Syracuse game on the next slide, so I'll talk about it right now. Um, so, anyways, Florida State and NC State played this week in Raleigh, and NC State, man, they escaped. They escaped. I don't even know if you call this a win. I know Devin Leary went down, but they escaped. I don't know if the play calling by Mike Norvell there at the end for Florida State was that good either. This game really could have gone either way. It's just unless you like defense, I mean, this is more of a boring game in my opinion. But NC State, hey, it doesn't matter who you're playing. A win's a win, if you ask me. And Florida State, you have a bounce back week this week against Clemson. Um, we'll talk more about that. I know for a fact that one's on the next slide, but I forgot to put NC State Syracuse. That's a ranked matchup this week, so I'll talk about it real quick. And if you want to add any thoughts, you can.
All right.
NC State, they are playing with their backup quarterback. Can't remember his name, nor do I really care. They're going on the road to upstate New York to take on Syracuse inside their little dome that they play basketball in. And they're 3-point underdogs. Syracuse is favored by 3.5 now. I just think North Carolina State's defense is going to be too much for the
Too
Syracuse.
much for the Syracuse offense, yeah.
And I'm not. I think I think 3 points is right. I just think 3 points in North Carolina State's favor. So I'm going to take the Wolfpack to win at Syracuse next week or this in a few days. So,
Yeah.
but
I would do that
man,
too.
there's just so many question marks because I was really high on NC State this year. I thought that was going to be the team to beat Clemson, but they just don't look as good and consistent as they were last year. And I know they
Yeah.
lost their left tackle in the first round and or in the lottery of the NFL draft this year, so that definitely doesn't help. But man, I thought Devin Leary was going to step up, and he hasn't looked good at all. So
No, I agree, man. Yeah, I mean, before the season started, you and I both said that we thought NC State was going to be the front runner in their division, but I mean, Devin Leary has not looked like the man that we thought he would be, but
mhm.
I would take NC State over Syracuse as well because I just don't think that NC State or Syracuse's offense can take this NC State defense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and I will say, um, I remember in our ACC preview, I made it loud and clear. I looked right into this camera and I said, "You better not do what North Carolina did to me last year, last year. I thought North Carolina was going to be legit with Sam Howell and everything." And I will say they have done a lot better. They only have one loss, right? Yeah, to Clemson.
Yeah.
So North Carolina had like 4 losses this time last year. So they've done that. And I mean, the division's still open. Like we have the ACC. I mean, it's kind of who cares about the the side with like North Carolina, Duke, and Georgia Tech? Like nobody cares about that side. But it's like Clemson, Wake Forest, NC State, Florida State, all in the.
All in the same
I think it's
division.
the Coastal. I could be wrong though. I don't know the divisions by heart, but I know what teams are in which
Coastal.
division. Um, so I mean, it's still open. I mean, there's still 6 more weeks of ball to be played. So we'll see.
I mean, anything. I mean, the season's still. You're still in. I mean,
Everything's about to start figuring itself out here in the next
exactly,
few weeks. So
exactly. Teams are going to start showing you who they really are, and teams are going to show you that they like. Man, I think I'm going on a limb here. I really do think that. Not just saying this because I'm a Georgia fan. I'm a Georgia. Like, I'm not just saying this to be biased, but I really do think that Georgia might be one of the best teams in the nation, bro. Because I mean, they are one of the best teams in the nation, but I think they might be the best team in the nation. Because, like, I mean, I get like the whole Mizzou thing and everything, but teams have bad weeks too. Like, Alabama had a bad week against Texas. They should have blown Texas out. But I don't know, man.
it's all good. Well, we'll move on to the next game. We have 11th ranked Utah. They went on to the crowd of 200 people in Pasadena, California, to take on UCLA. And man, UCLA,
What a
another team,
showing!
just
There was
like
maybe a whole 400 people in the crowd.
I know, just like TCU, man, just a team that nobody expected to be good. They're now ranked 11th, and Utah's like 22nd now. Man, that's 2 playoff teams for your boy right here out the window. I had Utah, and we already discussed the whole Miami thing, so we're just not even going to get into that. But man, Chip Kelly, shout out Chip Kelly, man, building this thing in silence. Nobody's really got your eyes on you. Everybody's talking about Utah this year. Everybody's talking about Lincoln Riley going to USC. Everybody's talking about Bo Nix going to Oregon and their coaching change, and then you just got UCLA just chilling there. Nothing going
Nobody's
on.
talking about them.
Nobody's talking about them. Look at them now. They're right
If
outside the
they
top.
keep doing what they're doing, people are going to start talking about them for
Yeah,
sure.
that's right.
Yeah.
I thought that Utah's defense is going to get the DTR and make them play inconsistent, but this man's been playing consistent for 6 weeks now. So until they prove me wrong, man, I really liking the Bruins. They're looking legit, and as far as Utah goes, man, I said it repetitively. I know in our preseason videos, but I was like, this is the window. If you don't do it this year, you're never gonna be able to do it. So I'll never put my faith in the Utah Utes again. But
Neither will
Cameron
I.
Rice. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, they shouldn't have lost to Florida. I think even if you lose this game, and I think they can still run the table, but that Florida game was what's going to kill them at the end of the day.
I agree.
Um,
But I mean, they're not you. Like, I understand why they lost to Florida. They've never played in an environment like the swamp before. They've never played in weather like Florida weather before. And it's like against an SEC defense and a fresh AR-15 when he was loaded with rounds until he. But
and, 1 week Heisman contender.
yes, 1 week has everybody. I remember after that game, I was like, "Oh God, does Georgia get beat by Florida this year?" Like, oh no. But now I'm like,
They
Georgia's gonna
still
kill
could
them.
possibly, but you never know. Any given Saturday, any given Saturday, I don't want to hear it. I'm never gonna projectile a huge Georgia win anytime soon after the past few performances we've put on. So
Now, I mean,
yeah,
we killed Auburn though, but we should have.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we should have, but the offense still sucks. We'll talk about it in a second. Moving on to wow, I usually
hook
go
'em,
like
baby,
this, but
hook 'em, baby.
this is what I'm gonna say. If Quinn Ewers, I'm not gonna sit up here and say that if Quinn Ewers didn't get hurt, Alabama wouldn't have won. Nobody knows that. They could have. Nobody knows what would have happened. Nobody knows what kind of halftime adjustments would have been made. What I'm gonna say is they wouldn't have lost to Texas Tech. I'll say that much if Quinn Ewers did not get hurt. And these boys would be ranked in the top 5 right now, and they would be playoff contenders because this man came out here 2 weeks earlier than expected and let them boys from Oklahoma know who's here and who's back.
Who daddy is.
Yeah, yeah, he let them know. He let them know. Yeah, I'm 19 years old, and I understand Oklahoma's defense is nothing to talk about because they're terrible, and I let them have it last week. But Quinn Ewers, I mean, he's him. He is
him.
he
He
is
looked like the
quite
second coming
possibly
of Christ.
the best player in the country. I mean, my God, he is legit. I'm not even gonna
He
talk
is
about
legit.
Oklahoma. I'm not like they waste my time. You didn't even
Yeah, we're not
publish
talking about Oklahoma. Let's talk about Texas. Screw
Let's talk about
Oklahoma.
Texas.
You put up 0 points against Texas. You don't deserve to be talked about.
Nope, not ace. You can't even put up a field goal. Here's what's worrisome. I will say this about Oklahoma. You bring in Brett Venables. Obviously, you're not expecting to make the playoff. I mean, yes, it would be nice, but your 2-3 losses is what you're expecting. But what your main concern is for the defense to get better with Brent Venables as the season went along. And every week they look worse, and the offense looks worse. And guess who has the highest turnover ratio in the nation? The USC Trojans and Lincoln Riley, of all people. He is just smiling every time he gets to see Oklahoma play. Like, man, I got out of there. I'm in Cali and all this jazz. But it's alarming how bad Oklahoma has been the past, 3 weeks now? Not Kansas, Texas,
3 weeks.
TCU, and who was the
Kansas State.
Kansas State, that's right. Yeah, that was a long night. Forgot about that one. But Texas, I think they're going to run the table. They're one of my best bets this week. I know we don't have a best bet slide tonight, but they're favored by, I think it's moved up to 16. I got it at like 13 and a half or 14. I think they easily beat Iowa State by 2 or 3 touchdowns. I'm not too worried about that. Oklahoma plays Kansas this week, and we'll talk about that in the Week 7 preview. So
yes,
we'll move on to the Mormons versus the Catholics. Shout out Marcus Freeman. You're starting to get some ice underneath your seat. A huge win. We'll give him a round of applause because I really wanted him to work out, and after that loss to Marshall, they've been doing better.
He's gotten it.
You can tell after that loss to Marshall, each week Notre Dame is getting better.
Here's my thing.
They are improving. And I know we said that they were coming off a bye week to play BYU. BYU's been getting beat up and beat up and beat up. And that Notre Dame was probably going to edge this one out. We got that correct. And I'm glad to see Notre Dame doing better. They go on the road, or no, they're going back to South Bend, and they play Stanford this week, and I think they'll win. And I didn't put it on the next slide because I swear we talk about Arkansas every week, and they just keep losing. So BYU and Arkansas right next to each other, or right on top of each other right there. They actually play each other in Provo and Utah. And I don't know if KJ Jefferson's supposed to be back or not. I really don't care.
The Piggies are now bacon because they are cooked.
Yeah.
Their season
Speaking of cooked, let's just go ahead and move on into it. The entire Arkansas secondary just got absolutely Chef Boyardee cooked by Will Rogers and Mike Leach this week.
Will Rogers went out there thinking it was going to be a field day.
I know statistically this man has like the second best stats as a quarterback overall, and everybody's like, "No, he can't be in the Heisman talk." Like, that's what you expect out of Mike Leach. BS, man, put him in there.
Yeah,
this kid's good. He's already set. He's played half the games, or not even half the amount of games that Aaron Murray played, and he this past weekend against Arkansas set the SEC record for most completions. So
that's ridiculous. I didn't know he set the record.
Yeah. Shout out Will Rogers. Shout out Mike Leach. I'll be seeing you play twice this year, once in Bryant-Denny Stadium and once in Starkville. I don't know your name of your stadium, but I'm coming to watch you play against Georgia, so I'm ready to see that live in action, baby. So
that's dope. That'll be cool.
You can talk about your pigs real quick.
Oh my God, man! Like, Your defense, like I said on the last episode, and the episode before that, and the episode before that, like I say every single time we talk about them, their defense sucks. Like their secondary is god awful. They have so many holes in it, and I don't know why they just don't focus on their secondary because, like, to the human eye, like it's obvious, like that's your problem. And if you can't figure that out, then like you shouldn't deserve to win games. I think that this should have been a spot where you come in and you take care of Mississippi State like they're nothing, and you come in and you let them score 40 on you. Like I get Will Rogers is playing some of the best ball ever right now out of any quarterback, and I mean, but I think that's a statement game, and you've shown that. But I know you don't have KJ, so and I think like yeah, you don't have KJ, so your defense needs to step up for you to win. And I think Mississippi State just came in there thinking, okay, and like it was a statement game for both teams. Like Arkansas needed to win to prove that they were like, okay, like we're still gonna have a good season. And Mississippi State needed to come in there and show everybody who they were. And Will Rogers needed to show everybody who they were. And Will Rogers had a field day, like I said, put up 40 against a terrible Arkansas defense, and Arkansas's offense didn't play very well either. They did not play well at all. But that's all I got to say about the Piggies.
I got you. Well, I ain't got much to say about that because I know we're going to talk about Mississippi State on the next slide. As far as Arkansas BYU goes, I mean, this line has like gone back and forth. So it's been the line that has moved the most this week.
Where is it?
BYU, it's in Utah, in Provo,
Utah?
Utah for BYU.
Oh,
Opened up at 3.5 for BYU, and then I think they announced that KJ Jefferson was likely to play, and then the line moved to like 1.5 in favor of Arkansas, and now it's like to pick them because now they're unsure if he's playing. Nobody knows. I wouldn't be surprised because both of these teams are beat up. That both these teams play a hard schedule. I might just give the edge to BYU because it's a Super Bowl for them. They're playing an SEC team. I don't know though. I just I don't know. This is the definition of a coin flip game, if you ask me. So
I agree.
I'm unsure of where to go with that one. But
Because especially after what Arkansas has showed us these past couple weeks, it is a coin flip game for sure.
I agree. But we'll roll into.
I'll let you take care of this one.
Yeah,
Did you go to the game this weekend?
I did. I was in Sanford Stadium to watch the Dogs take on Auburn. First home game I've been to this year. It was kind of what I expected. Shout out Brian Harsin for keeping your job. I really thought you were going to get fired on the field, especially after you tried that fake punt from your own 35. That was the most stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Your team's terrible. I'm very proud of the Georgia defense. I was kind of upset, though. They kind of let me down. I had the Auburn team total under 10. They got the 10.
Man.
It was a push. So, because they didn't get 11 or more, so it was
Push pays, you get your money back.
Yeah, but I mean, that hurt. That touchdown at the end, like, how are you gonna let that BS happen, man? Like, come on. Stop trying to strip the ball. Just take the man to the ground. Auburn's terrible. They're looking at a 4-win season, if you ask me. I had them at 5 before the year started. They're looking at a 4-win season, if you ask me. And they already have 3.
Look, this is what they're going to do. They're going to suck the entire year, and then when they play Alabama, they're going to play Alabama really close.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. I would not be surprised. Georgia, proud of your defense. The offense sucks. I'm just like, there's just no other way to say it. I know they put up 42 points. Well, Auburn sucks. That's nothing to be proud of. Like, where's the vertical passing game at? It was there week 1. It was there week 3 against South Carolina. Where's the vertical passing game at? Oh, I know where it is. It's in the dumpster fire known as Todd Monken's playbook, okay? He did really good at the beginning of the year. But then the 2 games where we're supposed to work on our vertical passing game, Samford and Kent State, our players want to show up hungover from like a strip bar the night before, and Stetson Bennett wants to play hungover and throw interceptions and just see how far he can throw the ball against Samford and Kent State. And Lad McConkey must have gotten his heart broke 2 weeks ago because he hasn't been able to, like, I don't know. I guess he laces his hands up with Vaseline and butter before he goes on the field because he can't catch anything. Uh, the only thing we know how to do is throw bubble screens and quick slant routes to tight ends. Stetson Bennett wants to get 5 steps back in the pocket. Oh, Brock Bowers, Brock Bowers, Brock Bowers. Oh, he's not open. I don't know what to do. I will say I'm proud of your midget self for running 65 yards to the house. That was pretty sick to watch. And as far as the running backs go, let's start the 2 younger guys. Kenny McIntosh, yeah, you can be a third down passing back. Kendall Milton, you look like straight cheeks. But Dejon Edwards and Branson Robinson look like grown men when they run the ball. They look like they want to get in the end zone, so let's give them the rocks.
Branson Robinson looks identical to how Nick Chubb
Yeah.
looked.
Yeah, no, I agree. But we got to get a vertical passing game. We got to get intermediate passing game back like we had it against Oregon.
You need to figure out how to get Brock Bowers open. I don't care what you got to do. I don't care if you run a
No,
route to where you
screw getting
knock
them
a
open.
corner or
Screw
a
that.
linebacker or something.
No. Listen, screw getting him open. Line him up in the backfield. Give him the rock. I don't care. Give him the rock. Line him up in the
He'd make a
backfield.
mean fullback. Kyle Juszczyk has nothing on him.
Yeah, but that's my Georgia rant for the week. No, and all to conclude this, I am proud of the Dogs for
It
making
was a good win.
They did cover. They covered 30 points. So I was proud of that.
Hey, now we're the
They,
number one team in the country.
yeah,
So.
they're number one now, which undeserving if you ask me.
Yeah,
I think they should have
I don't
stayed at
get
number
why.
2 or 3. I mean, I think Ohio State's the best team in the country right now. But it's only week 6. We still got plenty of games left.
Yeah.
And it's not that Georgia can't get it together, and it's not like they're a bad team. This is just me being nitpicky and critiquing my favorite team because I've seen what they can do, and they haven't done it since they played in Columbia, South Carolina. So
Yeah.
I want if I could see that team and the team that played against Oregon every single week, there would be no doubt in my mind this team was going to win the national championship back-to-back years. But it's just frustrating because I've seen what they can do, and they haven't played like it in 3 or 4 weeks. Excuse me, 3 or 4 weeks now.
Yeah.
But
No, I mean I think they get better with time.
I agree.
Every
And I
year.
think this little scheduling we had Auburn, who's terrible. We play Vandy this week, and then we have a bye week. Those are 3 really good weeks to kind of get started in your SEC play or get in the groove of SEC play consistently. And then you have a bye week, and then we play Florida and Jacksonville. So, I mean, they just got to step it up, man.
You got a tough stretch.
After it's like Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Kentucky, Georgia Tech. And we'll talk more about Georgia's schedule here in a little bit, and we'll talk about our playoff projections. So
That is a tough stretch.
So. Yeah, it is. It is. And the SEC East is better than the West this year, no doubt.
I agree.
In my mind.
I agree.
All right. Well, we will talk about, but I will say I need to end on a compliment. Good job, Georgia. Let's keep building on this week in, week out, so we can make it to Atlanta with hopefully no losses, but we'll see.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think we get there with no losses.
I can definitely 100% see it happen, but I don't have the confidence in them right now, man.
These boys just need to get the dog mentality, and they'll be good. Like, they got the skill. They just need to figure out what they did last season.
Yeah,
That's different. Well, I'll tell you what's different this season.
The defense.
Is the 11 people you lost to the draft on defense. Like,
yeah, and
but
the leadership, man.
Yeah, the leadership.
Oh, by the way, this is one last little nitbit I want to throw in. Stetson Bennett, I know you're listening. No, I'm just kidding. Probably not. But I do want to say this. Son, I saw and read an article that with new NCAA rules and loopholes that there's possibly a chance you can return for a 7th season. Please leave after this year. Please, dear God. That's all I wanted to say.
No, I mean, I'm right. I think
you did your due diligence, and you will always be a hero. Don't ruin it.
Yeah, you've done your job. You finished the story. Like, you finished the fairy tale end. It had the fairy tale ending. You're a walk on. You won the national championship. If it was my decision, I don't think you should have came back this year.
I mean,
but I mean,
it's hard to tell somebody when you have another chance to play college football, man, that to
Like,
tell
don't
them
go
to just
back.
be like, no, yeah. So I
I
do
agree.
understand
I
that.
get that. But I think it's Carson Beck's time.
Yeah, man, he's looking good. We'll
He's
see.
looking
We'll
good.
see. We'll worry about that next year. But I did want to. I wanted to talk about that because that's starting to get my blood boiling a little bit because that's going to ruin recruiting, man. But anyways, enough on Georgia. Enough on Georgia. I'm tired of being a homer. So we got Bama A&M, and
What a game.
all I know is, dude, I can never get on the right side of Alabama. I can never do it. I can't do it.
I can't ever.
Against Arkansas, I was like, don't be surprised. This game's going to be close. Arkansas going to cover, possibly win. And Bama blows them out. This game, Bama's going to blow the doors off A&M. It'll never be close. I don't care if they put Jahmyr Gibbs and run Wildcat the entire time. They're going to beat them by 50 plus. Well, A&M showed up. Now, granted, Jalen
Evan
Milroe had
Stewart, man.
4 turnovers, and Will Reichert missed 2 or 3 field goals. So how many points are you really leaving on the field? That's a lot of points you're leaving on the field. And for the Bama defense to have an immaculate game and just to be able to turn around and be like, all right, we got to get back out there and just play their hearts out, that was really good for them. So Will Anderson stepped up. And, I mean, that was a game that I think
Dallas Turner stepped up.
Dallas Turner, yeah, Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Yes. With that
they all-
huge blocking. Well, there was holding.
There was.
There was holding.
But
I mean,
I will say, I'm tired of seeing on YouTube and other platforms like Twitter. Well, we were playing without Bryce Young. We had our backup quarterback. Well, A&M had their backup quarterback in there too the entire game. So Haynes King's a backup. Max Johnson's out for the season. I don't want to hear it, man. It's always injuries with them. Jamison Williams. Yeah, get out of here. 2020.
I feel like they do that on purpose at this point. Just have a player go down so you can blame it on somebody.
I don't know if you see that right there, but hang on. Yeah. 2021.
Where'd you get that?
I'll send you the link after this.
I need one.
Yeah, 2021. How about them dogs? But yeah, Bama goes to the Neyland Stadium this week. We will talk about that literally next slide. That is our game of the week for this week. A&M, they on a bye? I think they're on a bye this week.
Yeah, I think they're on a bye this week.
Yeah, they are, because I remember it was the Mississippi State.
And then I think they play Florida.
Florida, really?
They play Florida at some point this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know the Florida schedule. But no, I know for a fact Florida's on a bye week in 2 weeks because them and Georgia always had the same bye week. So I'm not sure. But A&M, your offense, I'll say it again, it sucks. It's expired. It's slowed down. It needs to.
The only reason you stayed in that game is because freaking freshman Evan Stewart looked like, I don't know, Debo out there.
Yeah, it did look like Debo Samuel a little bit. And turnovers and hey, the defense played like the A&M defense we thought we'd see all year. I will say that. Yeah. And I understand Jalen Milroe was playing, not Bryce Young, but still, whenever that's the situation, you have to step up. And you can't say they didn't cause turnovers. You can't say they didn't put pressure on the kicker. So if that defense can keep it like that, man, and I'll just say
Shout
this.
out Jalen Milroe, though. H-Town boy.
Jimbo needs to hire an offensive coordinator. I'll say it.
Jimbo needs to do more than that.
No, I really think if he hired an offensive coordinator and just let the offensive coordinator call the plays and, up his tempo and then let this recruiting class continue to develop, they'd be solid next year and the year following that. But, man, I don't know if A&M's even going to make it to 8-4. They usually just go 8-4 every year. They might be 7-5.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Bama's definitely got their toughest test of the year. Well, maybe second. I think Texas might be a little bit better than Tennessee, in my opinion. But
I think they might be too.
That is not here or there. Speaking of the Vols, we'll end on them before we talk about these two teams again. Yeah, They're legit. That offense is legit.
Hendon Hooker.
Hendon Hooker, and like I think they said 243 pass attempts. He hasn't thrown an interception. 243 straight
Who is
attempts.
he? Aaron Rodgers?
I know. He's legit. He's doing it without his number one receiver, Cedric Tillman. Let's just throw that out there. And
That
he's
I
possible
thought
to be back this week against
I
Bama.
thought they were going to lose because of that.
Oh, I did too. I thought this LSU defense was going to be the first real challenge they've had.
No.
10 points like that. Didn't even blink. And I did say last week, if LSU wanted to win this game and keep it competitive, they're going to have to play fast off the start. Tennessee slows down just a little bit towards the end, but they have to play fast off the start and keep it within 3 to 6 points. And they were down 10 in the first 3 minutes of the game, and it was over. Tennessee didn't look back. They came right into Death Valley. They whooped up on LSU. They keep racking up these big wins. Well, sorry, a big win for the Tennessee program, maybe rather than big win nationwide.
Nationwide, yeah.
Because Florida, that's a big win for the Tennessee program. They ain't beat them in like 1 out of 16 years. The last 5 times they've been to LSU, they hadn't won or something like that. Or the last time they beat LSU was like 2005. Like it's been a while, and or something crazy stat like that. Like it's like these are big wins for that program. Maybe not, it's not obviously. I don't think that's as good as a win as UCLA beating Utah nationally, like rankings wise.
Yeah, that's I think that's bigger.
Maybe to the blind, to the standard college football viewer.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't know if that is even as an impressive win as Texas putting up a goose egg on the Sooners. Like,
to be honest, bro, I don't think it is
but it's a huge win.
But
for
I mean, you are in Death Valley too. So.
Yeah, so we do have to take that into account. But
yeah,
we said Jane Dane was going to have to step it up. He did not step it up. Just spoiler alert, he did not do that. So they're struggling at LSU.
He only put up 13 points.
Yeah, they go to the Swamp this week to play Florida. So that's on the next slide as well. We got a lot of SEC games as always.
A lot of things to cover on the next slide.
Nah, I think
we
got next slide's Bama, Tennessee game of the week, and then I think there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. So
that's not bad.
No,
that's not bad.
Not at all. So that'll do it for week 6. Another great week, and let's hop into week 7, man.
Man, I'm ready for week 7. I'm ready for this game right here, man.
You go first. I need to reach under my fridge. I need to grab me a Monster Energy.
No, you're good. So you got Alabama going in to Tennessee this week to play the Volunteers. Hendon Hooker's been looking really good for Tennessee this year. I think that he might be not gonna go on account saying he is, but he might be one of like the top quarterbacks. And well, actually, he is. Okay, he's one of the top quarterbacks in the SEC right now. He's playing damn good ball. And
I think it's 1 or 2.
What's up?
Him and Will Rogers.
Yeah, and then you got Alabama, a questionable Bryce Young.
I forgot about Bryce Young. He's up there too. He's definitely
up there too. He's up there too for sure. But this week you got a questionable Bryce Young, and if he doesn't play, then we're gonna get to see Jalen Milroe again. He played against. He didn't play. I don't think he played very well against A&M, and I think that this Tennessee team is better than A&M. So if Jalen Milroe plays this week, I'm gonna talk about this game like Jalen Milroe is gonna play. Because I haven't heard anything on Bryce Young. Nobody knows if he's going to play. We probably won't know until kickoff. So, I think if Jalen Milroe plays again, he's going to do this. I think he might do the same thing that he did last week against A&M, and I think Tennessee would blow him out because I think this Tennessee offense is a lot better than the A&M offense. And I'm going to go on account here. I know I went on account not last week, but the week before when they played Arkansas. I know I didn't expect Bama to beat the ever-living crap out of Arkansas like they did. And I think this Tennessee defense is a lot better than Then a lot better than the Arkansas defense. And I think that the Vols get the win in Knoxville. And I think this is Alabama's first loss of the season. What
You
you
done?
think?
You done?
I'm done. I'm taking Tennessee plus 7.5, and I'm going to sprinkle on their money line.
You sure you're done? You don't want to go back on anything?
No, I'm not going back.
Last time you chose against Alabama, the other team didn't even cover.
I
So
don't care, man.
you might want to go on record and
I'm
say
not going back. I'm not going back.
because I really would like to see Tennessee cover this game because I actually have them at 10.5. So
I think that they can cover 10.5. But I think like I said, I think Tennessee beats them.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Let me take a swallow of this right here real quick.
all right.
All right. Let's talk about it. Bama, Tennessee, Knoxville. It's going to be an orange out. This is going to be the loudest Tennessee crowd you've ever heard since the 1998 season when T. Martin was there. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You don't want to have Tennessee back. Let me just tell you, the Voltards are out and they are running their mouths. And that's just not something else I want to have to put up with. I will say as a Georgia fan, I'm glad they're getting Bama first because I'd rather them get beat up against Bama and then I think they play South Carolina or something, and then they have to come to Georgia and play. That makes me feel a little bit better about this game, or as far as a Georgia fan, whenever Tennessee has to play Georgia here in a few weeks, November 12th. But nobody's going to know who's playing quarterback until about 3 o'clock, 3:15-ish on Saturday. Nick Saban and the entire Alabama staff does a very, very good job of keeping that, under the radar, not saying anything. I think Bryce Young will probably end up – I don't know if he'll start, but I think he will see the field this game. I think it might – even if it's an emergency situation. I'm not sure. I do think Bryce Young will see the field at some point this game. I do. This Tennessee defense is bad, guys. It's bad. When you let Anthony Richardson, who didn't throw a touchdown pass against teams like USF and Utah, and I forgot who else they played before Tennessee. It was some trash FCS doormat university school. He couldn't throw a touchdown pass. And then Tennessee gave up 3 or 4 to Anthony Richardson. 348 yards, the most in his career. Like I said earlier, it's a big win for the Tennessee program to beat Florida. But when you really look at it, I mean, it's a little questionable. Now, last week, that defense played really good against the terrible LSU offense. I'm trying to stay calm through all this because I'm like going back and forth in my mind on what I'm going to say. But you got me messed up. You got me messed up. You think I'm going to choose against Nick Saban. I can't do it. I can't do it. I cannot. I will not do it. He finds ways. Now, Bama does play, especially recently, the past 2 years, terrible on the road. I will say this. If Jalen Milroe plays the entire game, especially if he plays the first half and Bryce Young doesn't come in the second half, this game will not be as close. I think Tennessee will win by 2 touchdowns or 10 points. I will say that. But if Bryce Young even sees the field for a quarter or 2 or half the game, I think he'll end up starting. He'll probably play the entire game. That's right. That's what I think. I think he will play. That's why they're so quiet about it. They want everybody to think Milroe's playing, and they want you to prepare for both of them. But at the end of the day, I think Bryce Young's going to play. And I think Bryce Young and Alabama will win this game. They will not cover 7 points. I have the final score. I did this little score thing. 44-42, Alabama. Escape.
Wow.
And the difference is going to be that Tennessee defense ain't seen no pass rush like Will Anderson. They ain't seen no pass rush like Jordan Battle. Dallas Turner. Sorry, not Jordan Battle. He plays safety.
Yeah.
But cool. They haven't seen it. They have not seen it.
They haven't seen a defense like this.
They have not seen that defense. Bama hasn't seen an offense that moves like this.
Mm-mm.
But if anybody's going to get them ready and anybody's going to get a win in that hostile environment and get everybody ready, to play as a whole, it's Nick Saban, it's the Tide, it's the script A, it's the block numbers on the helmets, man. I'm not going to go on record. I can't bring myself to say Alabama's going to lose this game. I've picked against Alabama twice my entire life, and both times were last year, and I went 1-1. So,
Okay, I'll go back.
you go back? You're going to go back on what you said?
I'm going back on what I said.
I knew I could change your mind, man.
I'm going back on what I said, bro. Because if Bryce Young plays, Tennessee has no chance.
No, they have a chance. I think
have a
even if
chance,
Bryce
yeah,
Young
but,
plays,
like-
they're going to cover, and it's going to be close. But I just don't see
they have a
world.
chance, but I don't see it happening.
I want to
I
send
don't
my.
see it happening.
Let me just say this right here. Let me pick up the mic. Get this thing set right here. Okay. To anybody in the state of Tennessee and any SEC fan, if the Tennessee Vols, if they beat Alabama on Saturday, we might as well go into like a hurricane shelter because it's about to go down in Knox Vegas, Tennessee.
It's about to start raining ball tarts.
It's about to go down. And I pray to God that does not happen because actually, you know what? If Tennessee
Yeah,
beats
get up on your
Alabama,
high horse and then come into freaking
come into
Sanford.
Stanford Stadium.
And we'll
Well, we're gonna have the Going for Two podcast in section 133. Me and Jance will be there to watch.
Shout
that
out
game.
Big John.
Yeah, shout out.
Another
Dad.
shout out.
Oh yeah, but I am riding with the Tide, but I am gonna take the Vols plus 7.5. I already have it at 10.5. I got more units than I'd probably like on it, but I'm taking the Vols plus 7.5 on this podcast for as far as the record goes.
I'm gonna take the Vols plus 7.5 too, man. I'm not gonna take their money line. I'm going back on what I said. Forget that I said that I think Tennessee's gonna beat them. Jalen Milroe plays, they will.
You gotta stick with your gut, man.
Huh?
You gotta stick with your gut.
I know. But
but I was so cool. How could I not change your mind?
I wanted to, man. I really wanted to come on here and be like, yeah, Tennessee's gonna beat Alabama, and then when it happens, I'd look like the biggest genius on earth, but I probably wouldn't because I've projected them to lose to how many teams now? 3.
2.
Texas and
3. Yeah, Texas, Arkansas, and now Tennessee.
Yep. But hopefully somebody can prove me right.
I mean, hey, you can't look worse than me. Well, actually, I don't know.
Mr. Utah and Hurricanes.
I mean, I had Utah and Miami in the playoff, but you had Kentucky winning the East, going 12-0. So, excuse me. But let's keep this train rolling, baby. We got a lot to get into.
We do. All right.
This is we're gonna do this a little rapid fire because I know we're gonna be doing a lot of talking on the next 2 slides. So, all right, Penn State, Michigan. This is Michigan's first test of the season, first real test, if you ask me, because I mean they've played a bunch of schools with disabled people on there. So like Colorado State, UConn, and Hawaii, 3 of the worst group of 5 teams in America. They played close against Indiana last week. Oh my gosh! By the way, screw these guys.
Michigan
in the maize and blue. Okay, I had Michigan minus 21.5. They won by 3 touchdowns on the dot. I lost by half a point. So
imagine being that unlucky.
I'm very upset at you. But since you're playing, no.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. I was like, what did I do?
No, I'm pointing at the screen. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I like Michigan in the big house. I like Michigan in general. I think they're going to slow the game down. Bet the under in this game. That was one of my best bets of the week. I think it's at 52 or 51.5 because both of these teams are going to be run. Both of these teams play better, and their offenses are more efficient when they just run the ball. Blake Corum, I think I'm expecting a big game out of him. I'm going to take Penn State to cover 7 points on the show. I'm going to pick Michigan to win the football game in the big house. I still like Michigan. I think they're very good. I think they're well-rounded. The defensive leadership is starting to develop and blossom since Aiden Hutchinson's been gone, which is really good to see for them, I should say. I really like Blake Corum. J.J. McCarthy does just enough, and he's going to continue to develop. James Franklin, you suck as a coach on the road, in my opinion. I think Sean Clifford's overrated. I think your team's a little overrated. I'm not saying they're bad. I definitely think they're the third best team in the Big Ten, but I just like Michigan more in the spot.
Me too. I'm taking Michigan. I'm actually going to buy it down so that what happens to me doesn't. What happened to you doesn't happen to me. But I'm going to take Michigan -6. I think they cover 6 against Penn State at home in the big house.
Yeah,
But
I like that. Actually, I guess I'll go on the record. I'll take Michigan -7 for the show's sake. So,
okay.
yeah. All right, you can introduce that.
Clemson, Florida State. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to tell you like who I like in this. I don't see Florida State standing a chance against Clemson. I think Clemson's offense is clicking on all cylinders. Shout out DJU. DJU, I think, is playing. Wait a minute. Who did they play last week?
Boston College?
Didn't Boston College give them a run for their money?
No.
No? Okay, I'm tripping then. I think Florida State loses to Clemson and Clemson covers 3.5.
Shh.
But I'm not gonna go on record to say that they cover the 3.5. I'm gonna take Clemson's money line.
I got you.
Yes,
Well,
sir. Why were you giving me crap? What you got to say?
but it's as I'm looking around for a bag of peanuts because I'm taking the Noles to win at home.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm taking Florida State to win.
ballsy.
Florida State's going to win this football game. If Clemson, now don't get me wrong, Clemson obviously deserves to be favored and whatnot, but I don't know. Everybody's on Clemson, everybody's on DJ, and they look good, and everybody's talking about their defense, and I don't know. I think people are. I know Florida State had a bad week. Sorry, I'm banging the table. Had a bad week against NC State. Was that back-to-back losses for them? Yeah. Who else did they lose to? Wake Forest. Yeah. Nobody's expecting them to come back and beat Clemson. Nope. Nobody's expecting it. This is a primetime game. It's like at 7:30, something like that. In Tallahassee, that place is going to be chopping like the Braves, man. They're going to be chopping. DJU's he's gonna show his real colors here eventually.
I think he will.
And I think with just enough holes in the secondary for Clemson and just enough luck for the Seminoles, I'm taking Florida State to win this game outright. I'm taking Florida State to beat the number 4 team in the country this week, and nobody sees it coming. And that is my peanuts on the table pick of the week, as you would say.
I like it, man. I like it, but I'm not. I'm going to be the guy that says that Tennessee beats Bama. I'm not going to be the guy that says Florida State beats Clemson. You can be that guy. I mean, it could happen. I mean, Florida State's played some pretty good ball this year, but I think Clemson takes care of them pretty easily.
And they should.
They should.
And I don't
yeah.
know. I'm just going with my gut, man. So
no, you should. And I'm going with my gut. I think Clemson.
Yeah.
Gets the job done.
All right, man. Well, this is the most underrated game of the week, in my opinion. This game's going to be awesome. There's going to be a lot of points scored in this game because both of these defenses are not too good, but both of these offenses are absolutely electric. Oklahoma State's traveling to Fort Worth. They're taking on Sonny Dykes and the 13th ranked TCU Horned Frogs. The Horned Frogs open up as a 4-point favorite. Give me Max Duggan and the Fighting Sonny Dykes to cover 4 points against the Cowboys and Mike Gundy. I think Oklahoma State's going to drop their first game of the year, and I'm liking this TCU team a lot more. I wouldn't be now. Don't get me wrong. This game's a coin flip, but I do think TCU. I'm higher on them. Oklahoma State's been giving me fits, giving me question marks the past 2 weeks. But I'm going to take Sonny Dykes, and I'm going to take the Horned Frogs. I'm taking the 4 points. Give me the Andy Dalton Jr. The Horned Frogs. So give me TCU.
But I'm right there with you, man. I'm taking TCU -4 against Mike Gundy and the boys. Yeah, I mean, y'all heard me talk about their receiving core when we were talking about them in Kansas earlier. I think that, I mean, you saw how Oklahoma State played on the road against Texas Tech. So, wait, were they on the road against Texas Tech or were they at home?
Who? I think they're on the road. I think they're in Lubbock.
I thought they were in Lubbock too.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is the game where you go on the road and you lose. I think TCU gets the job done here, and I think these two spots they flip. I think
Yeah.
TCU will go to 8 and Oklahoma State will go to 13.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And let me just say, whoever loses this game, their season is the last thing from over because both these teams, I think, have potential to run the table in the
me
Big
too.
12.
Yeah,
But I could say that about a lot of teams in the Big 12 right now.
a
But
lot of teams look good in the Big
yeah,
12.
so I'm excited for that. All right. So we're moving on to the 19th ranked. Dude, who would have thought that in week 7 we'd be talking about a ranked Kansas team versus an unranked Oklahoma
Unranked
team?
Oklahoma team.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to talk about
Here we go.
the 19th rank fighting Lance Leipold's, the Kansas Jayhawks taking on the Oklahoma Helen Kellers on defense. Um, Give me the Jayhawks +9. I don't care that their backups in. I don't care. I got this game at 11 points actually, so it's but I'm taking the Jayhawks to cover the points. Screw it. Give me the Jayhawks to win outright. Oklahoma sucks.
Yeah, I'm taking the Jayhawks to cover 9. I'm not going to go on record and say that Kansas is going to beat them because they are playing their backup, but the way that their backup played against TCU, I mean, I think they have a shot to beat Oklahoma after the way that Oklahoma looked
I don't
against
care.
TCU.
I'm not letting down on my Jayhawks. I'm not doing
No.
it.
Rock chalk.
And Oklahoma sucks.
Rock chalk.
Rock chalk Jayhawks.
Rock chalk. Jayhawk. All right. USC, Utah, man.
Yeah, we gotta run through these next few
Yeah,
ones
we do got to
fast.
go pretty quick.
But we're good. We're good. Kyle Whittingham, Utah, playing in I don't know the city they play. Oh, Salt Lake City. Yep. They're playing at home, taking on USC. This is Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley's first true test of the season. We saw how they played on the road earlier this year against what was it, Oregon State. Did not look good. Everybody's gonna be on USC. Everybody's like, man, USC, like they have been all year on the West Coast. And Utah, oh man, they got 2 losses. They ain't good. Utah plays their best ball when they got 2 losses. They're at home. I'm taking the Utes in prime time to cover 3.5 against USC, and USC drops their first game of the year.
I'm on the other side of you. I think UFC covers 3.5. I think you got to know going into Utah, you can't lose this game if you want to make the playoff, or if you want to have a chance to make the playoff. You can't lose this game. And I think that USC covers 3.5, but I'm not gonna go on and say that they'll win.
Oh, so you
I
think
think they'll
Utah's
win the
the
game, but
Oh, okay.
I think they'll win the game, but
All right.
we'll see.
All right.
We'll see. I mean, it could happen, bro. Utah could beat them because I mean, Utah's
They
not a
play their
bad
best ball.
team.
They play their best ball when they got 2 losses. You've seen it repetitively. That's what they did last year. They started out 1-2 and then finished the season 10-2. So LSU, Florida. Both these teams down years, needless to say, especially LSU because they were ranked last week. Tough loss for them. Florida. Who did Florida? They played Missouri last week.
Missouri.
They won by like a touchdown, and I've had to see all over Florida Twitter like, we beat Missouri by like 3 more points than Georgia did. Like, get out of here. You haven't won a natty in like 3,000 plus days. You're trash. Billy Napier looks like a Walmart Aaron Hernandez. I'm taking.
Bro, you were on one today. You were
I
just firing shots at everybody. I love it.
Look, I got like 3 weeks to prepare to hate on Florida. Y'all ain't ready for that preview. I'm gonna take. I know I just crapped on them. I'm gonna take Florida to win the game.
How are you gonna do that?
I know. I mean, I hate Florida. I'm a Georgia fan, obviously. It's pretty plain, pretty clear.
Florida sucks. Yeah.
But Brian Kelly, I hate you more. Your face on TV pisses me off with your red face and my family and all this BS. Your offense is terrible. I think Anthony Richardson, as bad as he sucks, I don't know. I just feel like Florida finds a way. I don't know. This game's a coin flip game too. I really could care less because it's meaningless.
Give me the Gators minus 2.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Florida minus 2.5.
I'm gonna take Florida minus 2.5 too.
Florida.
Florida.
Flow rider.
Hey, you know why all the trees in Florida lean to the northwest?
Why is
Or
that?
sorry. Do you know why all the trees in Georgia lead to the south? Lean to the south?
What's that?
Because Florida sucks.
That's right.
Yeah.
They do. All right, man. We got the flying Mike Leaches going on the road to
Flying Mike Leaches.
flying Mike Leaches going on the road to Lexington, Kentucky, take on 22nd ranked Wildcats. Will Levis is. I'm guessing he's confirmed to play because I think the line opened up at 7, but before we got on the show, I think the line moved to 4 because I think somebody texted me about it.
Oh, it did.
So the line's at like 4, 4.5. Still in Mississippi State's favor, but it's gone down from a touchdown to a little over a field goal. Excuse me. I'm still taking Mike Leach. I'll take
Me
Mike Leach.
too.
At 7.
I'm taking Mike Leach and the
I'll take
boys.
Mike Leach at 17. I think they're gonna go into Lexington and blow them out.
Yeah.
Kentucky last week looked like a 6-year-old football team trying to run an offense. Okay, I remember watching Kentucky growing up, and you just felt bad for them because throwing the ball didn't exist. And then they got Will Levis, and they looked better, and they looked like a real team. And then last week they go to the backup because Will Levis gets hurt against South Carolina. If first of all, if you lose to South Carolina, I don't want to hear anything. So remember when you said they were going 12-0, Jansen? Just a little
Hey,
shout
man.
out there.
Hey, man.
They lost to Walmart Beamer Ball. So and Spencer Rattler, he was too busy wearing sunglasses, throwing shades at
Walmart Beamer Ball.
Yeah. Yeah, give me the Bulldogs. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. Kentucky's not good. And Mississippi State is one of the most underrated teams in the country.
Yeah, I'm with you right there. I'm going to take Mississippi State -4. I know the line has changed from 7, but even if it was 7, I'd still take him by 7.
I think they can easily win this touchdown.
But I mean, Kentucky, I think this is a spot for Kentucky to bounce back, so don't be surprised if they.
I wouldn't be. And these teams play each other every single year. It's like the Georgia Auburn rivalry. They play each other every year. So I mean, and it's in Kentucky, but I don't care. I think Mississippi State's legit. So,
Will Rogers is going to air it out.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we got to get on.
Yeah, I got a lot to talk. You got a lot to say. A lot to say.
All right. This you?
Yeah, this is me. So we decided that after, excuse me, now that it's been 6 weeks, we're officially halfway through the college football season. We're going to do a midseason conference championship and playoff projection. And this is mine. Yes, I know the Georgia Homer has Georgia ranked at 5. Boo hoo hoo. Clemson's going to win the ACC. They're going to run the table after they lose to Florida State this week. And even if they don't lose to Florida State, they're going to go 13-0 and win the ACC title. Ohio State's going to run the table in the Big Ten. I don't see them losing a game. If they do, they'll lose to Penn State on the wideout and still run the rest of their table and beat whoever raggedy old Big Ten West team decides to show up to Indianapolis to lose by 40. And we got Texas. I got 2-loss Texas. I think they're going to run the table the rest of the year. I am very high on the Horns. Give me Texas to win the Big 12 against TCU and Sonny Dykes. That's who I have. I have TCU versus Texas. I guess we're going to break all these down. Clemson versus whatever scumbag wants to show up from the Coastal Division. Probably UNC. I got Ohio State playing Minnesota, I guess, or Illinois. Whoever wins that game this week, I don't know. The Big Ten West is terrible. I got Texas playing TCU. That's a conference I like talking about right there. Texas plays TCU, and I think Texas is going to finish the year 10-2 and then 11-2. And if there's chaos on this right side, then this might be the year the committee puts in a 2-loss team, but I highly doubt it. Here's probably the biggest one on the whole screen. I got UCLA. Nobody's talking about them, and I think especially with this Utah game going on this week playing USC, they're still just going to fly under the radar. They're going to fly under the radar. And I did say in my Pac-12 projections, I said USC was going to lose to UCLA in the regular season. I stand by that to this day. I don't know. I don't know. That conference is up for tosses because people aren't talking about Oregon either. Oregon hasn't lost a conference game yet.
No.
Their only loss is to Georgia, and they've looked really good since that week 1 loss.
Yeah.
Sorry, that week 1 butt whooping, abysmal performance from the Ducks. Obviously USC is the popular pick. Utah can still run the table. They only have 1 conference loss, and I mean, for God, all we know is Chip Kelly goes back to his old ways and DTR goes back to being inconsistent, and UCLA could lose 2 or 3 conference games, but I'm very high on them, and I don't think enough people are talking about them. And I think, there's going to be teams that beat each other out of contention. I just think UCLA is going to find a way to get it in there, and I think I have them winning. Not a whole lot to say because I don't think a Pac-12 team's making the playoff, obviously. And how can you not go against Alabama to win the SEC? I know you have Georgia, but which I respect, and it could 100% happen. And I'll explain this real quick. So I have Ohio State 1 undefeated, Clemson undefeated, Bama. I'm projecting a loss in there. If Bryce Young doesn't stay healthy. Even if they do, I think they've had too many close games, and I think Clemson, Ohio State have had too many. I think they're going to continue to get better if they run the table. 2 and 3 are interchangeable. It doesn't matter. They play each other anyways.
Yeah.
But I definitely think Ohio State at the end of the year will be 1 because they're going to blow everybody out, even with 1 loss. And then I have Michigan at 4. And people are going to ask, well, how do you have Michigan at 4 and Georgia at 5? Well, here's why.
That's what I was going to ask.
Well, I knew that was probably going to be the biggest question. The reason why is because I think Michigan's going to do just enough. They're going to win the rest of their games. They're going to pull into Columbus, Ohio in the last week of November and get absolutely mollywopped. But it's going to be their only loss of the year. And Ohio State's going to be – they've already whooped everybody. And then they're going to win the Big Ten. And Michigan, with 1 loss to the number 1 team in the country, how are you going to leave them out? Well, I also – this is the Georgia factor of it. I got Georgia dropping a game in the regular season.
To who? Predicted.
No, because I've already gotten crapped on enough. I'm going to get crapped on enough for not having them in the playoff, okay? And don't get me wrong, I want Georgia to make the playoff, but I'm just going with what I think is going to happen. And the team that I've seen the past 4 weeks against Samford, Kent State, not South Carolina, but Missouri, and the offense I saw against Auburn, they have not proved to me that they're not going to slip up or there's going to be a team that's better than them just on that day. Like, remember a few years ago, South Carolina was just better than Georgia on that day.
Yeah.
So, like, Tennessee, that, like you said, we just talked about it. The stretch after the bye week of Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Kentucky, Georgia Tech, get out of here. They're not worth my time. One of those 4 games, they're going to drop. And I'm leaning towards the back end of Tennessee, Mississippi State, or right there in the middle. Sorry, I think they'll end up beating Florida. I'm not worried about them losing to Kentucky. But one of those 2 games, having Tennessee and now an underrated Mississippi State team back-to-back, I think they're going to find a way to lose one of them. And I still think they're going to win the East. But especially if Bama drops a game in the regular season, I'll go ahead and tell you right now, they're not going to lose to Georgia in the SEC championship game.
No, they're not.
But if they're undefeated, I like Georgia's chances a little bit more. But I'm not going to go on here and pick against Nick Saban. No. So that was my reasoning for having Michigan in and Georgia out. And I think Tennessee, they might have 2 losses. I should have put Texas right there. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, you should have put Texas there.
Yeah, I didn't mean, but sure, we'll just say it on record. Tennessee, Texas. I think that would be a heck of a bowl game if I do say so myself.
Tennessee, Texas, that would be
an amazing bowl
game. You have the mustard orange against the freaking
burnt orange. Yeah. But yeah,
Tennessee's orange is ugly, bro. I hate Tennessee's orange.
I do as well. But yeah, that was my reasoning for everything right there. I do have and if I had to predict this real quick, I'd have, dude, And how can the committee pass up? Imagine the TV rankings of an Ohio State Michigan
Michigan
rematch
playoff
in the
game.
playoff.
Insane.
If I had to predict this right now, I'd have Alabama beating Michigan in the national championship.
Wow.
I don't see Michigan losing to Ohio State back-to-back times.
I don't either.
It's just we saw it last year with Georgia Bama. And I think Bama's just kind of would blow Clemson out the water. Even though if anybody's going to beat Bama, it's going to be Dabo. But it's going to be Dabo and Deshaun or Dabo and Trevor, not Dabo and DJ.
And DJ, yeah. Maybe if Cade Klubnik were to start right now.
Nah, he has no reason to. DJ's been playing good.
DJ's been playing good, yeah.
But, yeah, I'm going to take – if I had to choose this game right now and fill out my playoff bracket, this is how I'd do it, and I'd have Bama beat Michigan by a convincing score in the national championship game. So,
I like
it. But hey, you know
Yeah.
what? I think this is 10 times better than having Utah and Miami in there. But 4 and 5 can be interchangeable, and 2 and 3 you can switch them. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at right now. You can go ahead. You run down yours, my friend.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna go through mine pretty quick since we got to get going. I like Clemson in the ACC. I think that they've shown like the most dominant football in that whatchamacallit, in that conference. I think that, I mean, they could lose to Florida State this week, like Hunter said, but I don't see it happening because I do think that Clemson is too much for Florida State. So I think they win the rest of the season, go undefeated, and whatchamacallit. Yeah, and then they win their conference. And I think Ohio State runs the table and wins the Big Ten. I think Texas wins the Big 12. The Big 12 against, I think, I'm going to go with Baylor. I think Baylor's going to play in this. Oklahoma State. What am I talking about? Not Baylor. I think Oklahoma State and Texas, it'll be them two. And USC wins the Pac-12. I don't think there's any other team in the Pac-12 that could beat them other than, like you said, UCLA. I could see UCLA beating them. And I think that I'm gonna go with kind of what Hunter said. Is I think that Georgia does lose a game this year. I think that they might slip up in that long stretch that they have to finish out the year. But I also think Alabama loses. They lose. Like if they lose this weekend, like I think they will, then I think they'll both be a one-loss team and they'll play each other in the SEC championship. And I
So
think
you
that
have a
Georgia will beat
2-loss
them.
team making the playoff?
No, what do you mean a one-loss team? The
Yeah,
two-loss
but
team of
if they
Bama.
Yeah, but if they play each other in the SEC title game, one of them's gonna have a second loss.
You're right. But yeah, I got Bama. I mean, Bama always finds a way to get in there somehow. You can put them in at 4. You got to put them in at 3.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is like I don't really care how you have these teams lined up, either 1, 2, 3, or 4. I think that Ohio State, Georgia, and Alabama, and Michigan make it this year. I think Clemson doesn't get in, which I don't know why they wouldn't. Actually, to be honest, like I really can't pick like who I have in the playoff right now because like
it's just so
it's
much.
just so hard. Like, but if
It's
I
always the fourth
if I were
team
to have
too. It's always
16,
the fourth team.
what's up?
It's always the fourth team. You're like, oh gosh, who should I put in? You know?
And yeah, man, I like it's so hard. Like when you texted me and asked me, okay, who is your 4 playoff teams? I was like, like I couldn't think, bro, because it's so hard right now. There's too many question marks, I think, and I think it's still too early to say who I like a real playoff prediction. But if I were to give you one right now, it would be these 6 teams. I don't care where you put them. I don't care where they fall. But I think that these 6 teams are the teams that make it in the playoff. For sure.
I like it. For sure.
All right, man.
Anything can happen though, dude.
Anything can. I mean, it's still early. You still got 6 weeks left. So
yeah, but I thought this was good. I needed to redeem myself a little bit.
No, yeah.
All right.
Well, but I still think my pick is still the same. I still think Ohio State wins it all.
Yep.
Yeah. But all right, well, let's get into the Beer Deer pick of the week.
Okay. I had to flip my camera around. Yeah, so let me just go see what he wrote down. Lord have mercy. All right. Let's see what Homeboy said. He says, I apologize for my last two picks. I've had too much Bush Latte before picking. Check Dixie and then read the rest of the sticky note. So, let's see. Dixie, come here. For y'all that don't know, this is my dog. Come on, hop up here.
Oh, Dixie chick. He says, "Go dog."
She says, go dogs. Look, Dix. Come here. Look at her.
Little Dixie
Oh.
chick.
Yep, she's repping the Bulldogs this week.
She's the main character, man.
There you go, sweetheart. So we had to get her on here. The Bear Deer's going with the Vanderbilt team total under. Don't care the number. Probably projected anywhere between 9.5 and 6.5. So that's his week 3 pick. He's gone with the Vanderbilt team total under. He's got faith in the Georgia defense. And shout out Dixie Dog for letting us know what's up.
Yes, for being a team player and wearing a dog shirt for us. But I know she don't mind it. She a dog fan too. Look at her.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she is called the Dixie Dog for a reason. So, well,
That's
look
awesome.
at him, Diggs. Yes, sir. We're going to finish it out like this.
All right, man. Is there anything else you want to add?
Nah, we're good.
No?
We're good over here.
All I
You
gotta
have anything
say
to
is
go Dogs.
all I gotta say is go dogs and go Vols, man.
Oh, all right.
All right,
Well,
buddy.
that was a great episode. Great.
Yes.
We reviewed week 6, previewed week 7, discussed a little midseason playoff projections on the Beard Dick / Dixie Chick pick of the week. Vanderbilt team total under. Don't care the number. Anywhere between 9.5, 6.5, wherever you can get it at. They're as great as always. This is the Going for Two podcast with Jansen and Hunter. God first, God bless. We love y'all.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.